Well, we're here with our friend Julie Kelly, who has on Substack, Declassified with Julie Kelly. Julie Kelly, how are you, my friend?
Good, Mark. How are you? Thanks for having me on.
We met for the first time, kind of, on an airplane, yeah?
We did.
Just across the aisle, we kind of waved to each other. Yeah. Well, there we are.
Yes, of course. It was great to meet you in person finally. You've been so kind and supportive of me, so thank you.
Well, what you do is crucially important. Now, something took place in the courtroom in Florida that you noted, and rather than read it, our good friends at Right Scoop, great site, posted it. Tell the American people what happened yesterday in the federal courthouse in Florida.
So Judge Aileen Cannon, who is courageous and is doing kind of a one-woman's job of exposing the dirty, corrupt, classified documents case against Donald Trump, officially vacated the May 20th trial date, which, of course, Mark, she had to because you can't put a defendant on trial when he's on trial in another courthouse where he is in Manhattan. Furthermore, Judge Cannon refused to set another trial date, calling it imprudent based on all of these outstanding unsettled motions by the defense. And she has set a series of hearings, Mark, which I argue is sort of her way of putting Special Counsel Jack Smith and the Department of Justice on trial for this case, which she has known from the very beginning, back to when she appointed a special master to handle all of the evidence in this case. It was overturned. But nonetheless, she recognized at the very onset that the FBI and DOJ had no business handling the evidence collected from Mar-A-Lago. And now she is doing her part to expose to the American people how bad this case is, how corrupt the prosecution is, mishandled, and in some cases, missing evidence. And she is going to do her part to make this available to the American people.
And among other things, as you point out, she is going to hold a hearing on whether the appointment of Jack Smith is constitutional. We have two former attorneys general who say it absolutely is not, as well as some brilliant legal groups like Landmark Legal, of which I am chairman, by the way. And I take no credit. It's the president there, Pete Hutchinson. But that said, that's a very serious issue. Clarence Thomas even raised it at the Supreme Court on the immunity argument, correct?
That's correct. He did, because former Attorney General Edwin Meese, as you know, filed an amicus brief in that case arguing that Special Counsel Jack Smith was unlawfully appointed. Therefore, he has no right to bring these two federal criminal indictments against Donald Trump in Florida for classified documents and, of course, in Washington for January 6th. She is going to be holding a hearing on a motion to dismiss based on the unlawful appointment of Jack Smith next month. Mark, I think the most explosive issue is a 3-day hearing that she will hold at the end of June for the defense motion related to the scope of the prosecution team. And this is the motion that the defense filed in January, that she unredacted, in addition to unredacting 300-plus pages of exhibits, that demonstrates very clearly, Mark, collusion between the Biden White House, the National Archives, the Department of Justice, the FBI, to concoct really what I call it an entrapment scheme against Donald Trump to create some sort of document case against the former president.
Here we be, America, with our friend Julie Kelly, who, in my view, deserves a Pulitzer, whatever the hell they give to great journalists. But, of course, that whole thing is a scam, too. So, Julie Kelly, just briefly again, the judge issued, boom, 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 remarkable holdings or orders. Just go through them quickly again, one.
So she has unsealed and unredacted this motion and a bunch of exhibits that demonstrate the collusion between the White House, the DOJ, the National Archives, and other entities to put this case together. But Mark,
so let's stop right there. Let's explore that together. There's very few judges that would do that, especially in D.C., because they don't want to dig into that. And the reason she's digging into that is why exactly?
Because she has known since the very beginning, Mark, how dirty this case is. She is the one who appointed the special master in September of 2022 after the FBI raid. And she basically told the Department of Justice and Jay Bratt, who was the lead prosecutor at the time, now assigned to Jack Smith's team, that she did not trust the DOJ and FBI to handle this evidence as they should. She is now exonerated, Mark, because last week Jack Smith admitted that the boxes are not in its original condition, that some of the sheets that they used to replace classified documents in these boxes don't match up with the actual classified documents that were taken. So not only have they mishandled the evidence, they have misrepresented to her. As early as last month, I was there, Mark, in the courthouse. As you know, I've been covering the ongoing court proceedings. I've been going to Fort Pierce and watching this. She directly asked Jay Bratt, are the boxes in their original intact condition? And he said yes, except for these cover sheets that replace the classified materials. Jack Smith just last week had to tell Judge Cannon that was a misrepresentation of the facts, that they are not in their original condition. Furthermore, Mark, those boxes were transported the next day, August 9th of 2022, from Miami to the hopelessly corrupt Washington FBI field office, who now have archived those boxes since August of 2022. We know what that means. Cannot be trusted. So now Judge Cannon is doing her part to blow this entire case open, let the American people know how dirty this case is, and forcing Jack Smith now to admit that evidence has been tampered with, disrupted, and as Trump's defense attorneys call it, the spoliation of evidence crucial to this unprecedented case.
And of course, the sickening irony is that Trump's been accused of mishandling these very same documents, correct?
That Trump has been accused. Yeah, well, yeah.
By these very same people. All right, let's move on.
Joe Biden has been.
Yeah, correct. In other words, what I'm trying to say is the very same people who are trying to imprison Donald Trump, among other things, are accusing him of taking and mishandling classified documents. They have mishandled classified documents. Now, should they not be punished for what they've done? I guess we're going to find out. What else did she do?
So she has set a series of hearings after vacating the May 20th trial date, which we knew was going to happen. She set this series of hearings related to the selective vindictive prosecution of Walt Nauta, who is Trump's personal aide, who has been charged with obstruction, who the DOJ tried to get him to flip against Donald Trump and coerced his attorney into doing so. She's going to hold a hearing. I will be covering it May 22nd about vindictive selective prosecution. She also will be holding this hearing about the unlawful appointment of Jack Smith, and then this 3-day hearing the last week of June about this defense motion that was filed in January accusing all of these other entities, including the Biden White House, which we now know, Mark, the general counsel, the deputy general counsel as well, both of them, Dana Remus, Jonathan Sue, were in cahoots with the archives beginning in May of 2021 to put this case together. The defense attorneys have visitor logs, they have emails, they have other correspondence that demonstrate, once again, Mark, collusion between these agencies to entrap and take down Donald Trump on this case.
God bless her. God bless this judge. And of course, Julie Kelly, that's why they're trying to destroy her on MSNBC and CNN, the networks, the Washington Post and the New York Times, and these ambulance-chasing slip-and-fall lawyers go on TV and say how inexperienced she is and she doesn't know what she's doing. Sounds to me like she's a fresh voice who's not connected to all these other courtrooms and so forth, who knows exactly what she's doing. What is your take?
I mean, I see her in the courtroom. She is always prepared. She is completely unfazed by the fact that Donald Trump is sitting right there and Jack Smith is sitting on the other side. She always knows her stuff. She is very tough on the government. And unlike the judges that I follow in Washington on these other January 6 cases, she's doing her job, Mark. She's protecting the rights of a defendant. She's preventing government overreach. This is what we don't see of any other judge, and that is why, to your point, she's in the crosshairs of the media, the Andrew Weissmans of the world, because she is actually upholding her duty of her office. And God bless her is right, because it is not easy to do what she's doing.
By the way, is her regular courtroom in Fort Pierce, Florida, or is it down further south?
It's in Fort Pierce, Florida. So I've been there. Mm-hmm. This big, huge hulking federal courthouse, otherwise pretty much empty. And she, she's a former federal prosecutor, Mark, which is amazing because, as you know, they usually side on the side of the government. But her mother fled Cuba when she was a child. And some speculate that this is why she is so tough on the government and continues to be. And she really is going to be the one, almost single-handedly, to blow this case wide open. And we are going to see much more in the next few months, and I'll be covering that as well.
Fantastic. And we will have you on if you will agree to come on. Julie Kelly, we appreciate everything you do. God bless you, my friend.
You too, Mark. Thanks so much.
You're fantastic. Isn't she fantastic, America?